All right, we'll call this meeting of the Greenfield Planning Board to order at 6:01 on date today. It is October 7th.
August.
It is August 7th. Thank you. And
Summer's out of bed.
this meeting is being recorded by the planning board. If any other persons present are recording the meeting, you must notify the chairperson at this time. Don't yet have anyone online. And anyone here recording, not seeing anyone. Thank you. As far as public comment may be allowed at the discretion of the chair. If you want to be considered for making a comment, please alert the chair by raising your hand. Okay, we'll do a roll call of members. My name is George Paloumsas. I am the chair for the moment. And on to Jeff.
Jeff Stauser, Vice Chair.
Tom Bledsoe, alternate.
Vic Michelle, clerk, temporarily, hopefully.
And I'm Sarah Brown Hanson, member.
Oh, there you go.
And we hadn't heard from Peter. Does anyone know? I hadn't seen.
No.
And again, I
No word from him or Erica.
Erica. Okay. All right. So just pausing to think of whether to, I'm going to wait a few minutes to see about whether we might elevate you or whether once we do reorganization, might elevate you, Tom. Just don't know if Peter was going to arrive.
Right.
Okay, so the next item is the annual board reorganization, the election of a chairperson, a vice chairperson, and a clerk for the planning board.
You don't want to approve the minutes.
Now, that's the next item after that. On the agenda, the reorganization usually comes first after we just identify the members of the board. So the process for this is we start with the chair. It's self-nominations or other nominations. Nominations do not need to be seconded. Usually check with the person who's nominated if it's another nomination, if they want to accept the nomination. And then there could be discussion if there's more than one nomination. And then we would vote.
We can't nominate people who are not here.
Say again?
People who are not present cannot be nominated for an office.
It's interesting.
That's a rule?
I don't know. I'm just guessing because you said we had to ask them if they'd accept it.
Oh,
Yeah, typically we would ask someone if they want to serve.
If you hadn't talked to them in advance.
Um,
Are alternates voting members in this discussion?
if an alternate were elevated, they would be able to vote. Right, they couldn't serve in a position like that, but they could vote.
Right, they would vote on whatever's in front of the board.
Right, yeah, exactly. Okay, so I will, Victor, just for your, are you checking to make sure no one's trying to get
Yeah, I'm
in?
just trying to see if there's anybody else or not, but
I'll pause for
I
you.
don't see anybody here.
I want to make sure
Just us.
no one gets excluded.
It's-
Okay.
And it is definitely on, right?
Yeah.
It's good. Recording.
I'm assuming everyone got into the link. I don't assume we have the same problem we've had before in the past.
Should we check?
I don't know how you check. Do you check? I can log. Yeah, see if you can get into the.
Great. Thank you, Jeff.
So why don't you move the other, should we move to the other items instead?
No, we have to do this first. It's possible Peter's trying, if it's the problem, it's possible. Peter's trying to participate remotely, so.
See me on there? Oh, I haven't hit the button. Hold on. I haven't hit the button. Looks like it was working.
Are you in? You're on?
Yeah.
Oh, there's somebody. Oh. Somebody's
Okay,
getting in.
so it does work,
All right.
I guess.
That was appropriate.
Jeff, are you able to get it?
And you go from the calendar?
In the calendar, let's make sure I'm on the right date here. 7th of August. I hit the Zoom link.
It's in the red. I don't know why she's in red. She's not completely in yet. Shows her as a participant, but she doesn't seem to be in.
Jane, can you, if you can hear us, could you unmute and just confirm you can hear us? Just trying to make sure our remote option is working.
When I click the link, it tells me the meeting is scheduled for January 2nd.
Oh, is that old link again? Try going into the bottom thing then. If you go back out, it then asks you for the numbers.
Oh, the access code and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're back to that problem.
All right, well, if that works. Saying how
And you're going from the calendar.
I clicked the Zoom link on the calendar. I didn't try the access codes.
That's why Jane can't do it.
It wasn't an email, so I don't think it was. It's in.
But it should be the calendar.
I understand, but sometimes see, because the agenda at the end says there are links and things, but
But we've agreed
if it
that
was on a machine, you'd go, just know the way in.
the calendar is the public's door to
We
Access.
access this.
Yeah.
Yeah, through that.
the.
Right, you have public.
I went in
comments.
and had no trouble getting to that and getting the documents and reading the documents. So earlier today, I didn't try the link, but I accessed the documents that were referenced.
There really shouldn't be multiple ways to get in. It's one of them failed.
All right, we have public comments, so it might be a problem tonight if people can't get in.
Yeah.
Guessing that person can't hear us or.
Are you seeing
Can we
Jimmy?
do?
Trying to text.
I'm in.
Oh,
It's
just-
getting warmer here.
But you got in.
But he used the other way though, right?
I typed in the code as opposed to using the link.
Eric's
So clicking
in
the
as
link
well.
is not the same as, it's a different meeting.
People are getting there.
No, they're not. If they're just using the code, they're not, if they're just using the link, they're not getting in. Can we do our business and then postpone the rest? We can do our organization, right? But we don't need public comment on that.
Very more efforts.
Yeah, these people can't get in, Jane and Eric.
Well,
They
they're
are
in.
in.
They're in. They're in the same way that I am. I can see the meeting.
They, but
Can you?
Oh, I'm muted. It's gonna be, I'm trying to do
It's gonna
that.
be echoey. I don't think.
I turned off my speaker.
Hi, Eric. Thank you for doing that. We're just trying to make sure
That was your.
people are getting access. Eric, can I ask you really quick? 'Cause
Yes.
we're trying- Were you able to click on the link or did you have to put in the access codes or?
Yeah, I had to put in the actual access codes into my phone. The link on the website is to a January meeting or something. It doesn't
Right.
really link.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, so there is access, but it's not by the easiest method possible. Okay, well, let's carry on with our board reorganization. So, and we can assume Peter would have the capacity to get in if he were going
He
to.
would know how to do it.
So, yeah. So I am gonna, as the current chair, I'm gonna elevate you, Tom, to a voting member at this point. So, Victor, you could just note that. Great. Okay, so, floor is open for nominations for chair.
Would you like to share? Who's nominated?
Is that a nomination?
Yeah, I guess I'll nominate you, then we can discuss. Yes.
Okay,
Victor had his hand up.
I'll nominate Jeff.
thank you. Jeff, would you be willing to serve as chair?
I would.
Good. And I would be potentially willing to serve as chair as well. Is there any other nominations?
This is just for the chair.
Just for chair.
Correct, just for the chair.
At a time.
Yep. Discussion.
Should we take?
Is there a routine on sort of how long the chair and then the vice chair, or when a vice chair elevates, or if vice chair doesn't elevate, or is there any more?
We were all new last meeting, the last time, which is why we all nominated George, because none of us really knew what we were doing last time. We're all new. Now we all had a year under our belt. We kind of got a flavor for it, so that's why I'm suggesting Jeff. He's been the vice chair. He's had to sit in at least 3 or 4 times. Some interesting meetings too. I survived a open meeting law event, so I think he's got a little bit of credit under.
Yeah, well, from my, my experience on the board is very obviously limited, but I've enjoyed working with all of you and have had a chance to work with Jeff. And honestly, Jeff's chaired actually more of the meetings that I've been here over the summer and those times. So it feels like a good time to make a transition. You've been here for so long, you've done so much, and you got so many other things on your plate. If anybody's willing to step up, it's probably a good idea, And you obviously have a great background for it, Jeff. You both are really good with the public, in my mind, and seeing you engage with people, and been very impressed. And you obviously have the subject matter. You're kind of an expert in the field, so we're lucky to have you. So makes sense. And you've contributed so much to it over the years, and you still are doing a lot of different stuff. So thank you for all you certainly have done. Well, from my time here, but that seems to make sense to me. So I would certainly be comfortable.
According to the minutes here, we need to have a motion and a second for each nominee. So I know Sarah moved for George. Did somebody second?
I would say that that's inaccurate. Robert's rules does not require a second for
So what caused it off?
nominations for.
What causes all of that?
Okay.
So I'll comment. I just want to say, I think, just generally, I think it's not good to have the assumption that someone continue in a role indefinitely or something like that. I know when I was first came on the board, we had a longtime chair, and that person was going to be, in a few years, they're going to be leaving. I had proposed that they switch and become the vice chair to give the vice chair for a few years a chance. And the vice chair didn't feel comfortable stepping into that. And I think it would have been helpful to do that. I think it's good to have some changeover, and I think it develops leadership. And you were here when I became chair the first time. It was just 3 of us, right? Weren't you here then? And you had just started?
I don't remember. My first
No?
meeting was January
Okay,
2024.
Okay, but when I became chair, it was very reluctantly after Charles Roberts has left, and there were just 3 of us. And I was the obvious choice, but it was very reluctantly.
And this is the second time around.
Yeah, I had been vice chair for a number of years with Charles, so I'd be happy to step back from that. I'm happy to do it. I feel comfortable with the procedural stuff and with the engagement with the public and stuff like that. But I'm happy to step back from that, and I've really appreciated Jeff stepping in. It hasn't been an intentional fostering your development by my not being here a number of times, but it has served that purpose.
Master plan.
Yeah, right.
We're seeing if he was up for it.
The biggest thing I want to say is I think that, and I think you, in your comments, I think at the last meeting that I saw, that biggest thing for me is around the philosophy we have going forward or continuing as far as public involvement. And the reason I say that is I know that Charles set an example for years of being really flexible about public involvement, and I tried to carry that on. And at the recent decision by about the open meeting law complaint, there was such a telling decision I had cited before from the Attorney General's office. And I'm just going to read it again, that open meeting law does not require a public body allow public participation in its meetings, but says it can't speak unless permission with the chair. But we do, however, encourage public bodies to allow for as much public participation as time and circumstances permit. And that, to me, really hit a chord. That's kind of the philosophy I had all along and that Charles had embodied, but I thought, boy, they're really saying we should be flexible, shouldn't be necessarily restricted to a small comment period. We should be willing to be flexible. And so I think
Jason,
I
I
think
can't
that's-
get any sound.
this Jane?
Jane.
I am.
Can you mute? They're not getting sound, so they're not hearing.
Hmm.
Mute. Well, fix that. They can.
Or the profanity.
All you want.
So I just wanted to say, I think whoever's chair, I would, as a planning board member, I would want that approach. I think it's really vital to have this. I know it's challenging sometimes, but I think it's really important to have that. So that was just one comment I wanted to make about the approach with public engagement. So
I strongly support that, George, because I've not been on the government side for a long time. I've been in the private sector. I've done a lot of boards and I've been chairs and done a lot of governance on nonprofits and businesses, really. Mainly businesses, but also not straight nonprofits. Government a long time ago, but I'm not used to the formality of government in some ways. And so the limited amount of time and not just being able to have a back and forth. So I'm more comfortable. That's what I've been. So I support that very much as well.
I do to a
It feels
degree.
too restrictive otherwise. And if it gets out of hand, we can pull it back, but I'd rather encourage it and see where it goes.
The only comment I would make on that is, if we ask the question early on, does anyone have comments on topics on the agenda? If no one raises their hand, so they have no topics on the agenda, then what I would do is I would wait to the end of the meeting and say, does anyone want to speak on something else? Because we've been allowing people to speak on anything they want to, which takes up our time trying to do our business. So if we can do our business first and then open the floor, and if it takes till 10 o'clock because they have things to say, then that's what happens to us. But at least we get our business done. That's the only thing I would comment on. If it's not on the topics on the agenda, then it shouldn't be at the beginning of the meeting. It should be at the end of the meeting. So we get our work done.
I definitely agree 100%. If someone's going to come to a meeting or tune into a meeting, they should have a chance to speak.
Yeah.
Especially, but I would agree with you, Victor, if it's on the agenda, because every meeting can't be an opportunity to run out the clock on the same topic over and over and over. So if it's not on the agenda, it doesn't seem, if we can't talk about it, then it's not to be discussed.
Right.
But if it is on the agenda and there's a line out the door to speak about it, then we'll have to sit here for a long time and listen. But it should also be a duration of time that doesn't, the other thing that I've experienced in my job and also here is that the comment period can go so long that we have no energy to do our work when it's done.
Mhm.
And people are leaving and missing the actual discussion. So the discourse has to, that's important, but so is the agenda. There have to be a balance, that everyone who makes the effort to show up in a meeting should have a chance to talk.
And structurally, I don't think it works to clump it all at the start of the meeting. I think you look at a city council meeting and it's, endless. And I think what we've tried to do, I know Charles and I try to do, is fit it in organically, sometimes. And it takes some deftness and some negotiation, stuff like that. But sometimes someone will come up with something in the midst of something and you don't have to, it's discretion. And you might say, well, wait till the board has their discussion and and it's not watching the clock, but, just using judgment about how long or, wrap it up, stuff like that. Anyway, I want to go on longer about that, but.
Are you able to put sort of other business or something like that on the agenda, or is that kind of too open-ended? So therefore can't do that. I mean, is there a way to have at the end, if someone wants to talk about something else, you just put it to the end and you see if there's anything that anybody wants to comment on, then you close the meeting down.
So you just put public comment, or you put public comment at the bottom of the agenda, wherever you want to put it. So I think we all agree, we want the public to be open to be able to say something, but we want to work within our parameters of doing our business.
I think it's a good suggestion.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I just say it's also the public's business. So we're trying to find that blend where we're
People, as you
getting.
said, they want to hear the deliberation and the decision too, so they don't want the thing to go on so long that they can't see the whole thing.
And hear from each other.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks for understanding that. It's obviously important to all of us. So given that,
Vote. on
yeah,
the-
wanted to suggest we vote in the order of the nominations. So all in favor of Jeff as chair? All right, that's unanimous.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much for serving.
Thank you.
All right, nominations. Nominations for vice chair. Floor is open.
I was gonna nominate Peter, but again, he's not here.
Hmm,
I'll nominate George. We know that he's, capable of leading the meeting and I certainly don't want to be vice chair, so. And maybe Victor could be, but I don't know if you'll.
No, I want to be a member for a change, and
Okay.
just sit and listen and talk. So I don't really want, I don't want to be clerk, for sure.
Oh,
But, You know, so you guys better start thinking about that. Yeah.
Plot thickens.
Okay, well, you headed off my nomination, Sarah, because that had been my intention. But you're saying you would not be willing to consider that.
No, I have a baby. Life is too complicated right now.
That's a
Sorry.
tough thing.
That's my excuse.
It's the backup, right?
Okay.
Fills in. I mean,
All right, so, okay, we have one nomination and I would be happy to serve, support our new chair, so, all in favor of me as vice chair?
Aye.
All right, that is unanimous as well. All right. So, I think Victor is suggesting that we override that, approach of not nominating someone who's not here.
I don't know.
Right, yeah.
I don't know how we should. I mean, I would
Well,
like to nominate him, but again, I can't really accept what he wanted, but if he decides he doesn't want it, yeah,
Sure.
go ahead and voted him in.
so what I know boards have done before is when you don't have full representation, is you just table a nomination until the next meeting, when you might have a full, and you have the opportunity to check with someone directly if they might
Well, we
want.
just voted him in, so I don't think we can go back.
Second,
But he's talking about for other
And
positions.
clerk.
So we don't have, we can wait on clerk till everybody's here, or unless we want to.
Saying.
well, until Peter's here.
Yeah, we could consider rotating the clerk position or something like that. I know some boards do that. Of course, then
There is
it
some-
becomes more
There is some
complicated.
value in
People don't
getting
do
good at
it.
it, you know?
You could, Victor, you could
Oh, you're
nominate,
good, Victor, you're real good.
you could
I don't
nominate,
get to participate.
you could
That's the
nominate the one full board member who's here. It doesn't have an officer position yet.
Well, I'm not gonna nominate, sorry. So the one I heard her, all right, I heard her.
I
I
would
wouldn't do that.
prefer not to be clerk. I could probably do it 1 month if I had to, if it were rotating, but I don't have the time to sit down and do the
I think we
minutes
should
every
table, I think
month.
it's a good idea.
So I would table it till next
Let's
month.
table
and
it.
we'll-
That's right, Taylor.
Should we have a vice clerk also? Just like Peter's, that means I hear several meetings. It'd be great if he could do it when he's here, but Eric also isn't here sometimes. Is there a backup role for that, or is it just whoever wants to do it that day? Well, whatever, we can.
I don't know the answer to that
We'll
one.
talk about that. when we
Next time.
Really don't.
Probably discuss the clerk.
Sure.
What it should be is if somebody doesn't show up, someone should step up and take the minutes.
Okay.
It's, unless, except for you, because you're the chair, but you may have to take the minutes.
I'm here by myself.
This role is particularly bad when Eric is not here. Because you have to then do minutes.
Eric hasn't been here for a while. I think he's kind of getting used to not having to be here. So that's okay. I mean, you know, he's got a lot on his plate. So why have a clerk and a board if the clerk's not going to do any work? So, I mean, so I understand completely.
So we agreed to table the clerk
Yes.
vote till next month. Okay,
It's helpful, thanks.
Mr. Chair, it's your meeting.
So does it change immediately?
Facilitate it. You can delegate it, but it's your meeting to facilitate.
Okay. All right, next order of business, approval of meeting minutes of July 3rd, 2025. Does anyone have any comments on the minutes?
I have a question. I can't really vote on it because I wasn't at the meeting. But when I looked at the meeting minutes, I see that the board approved they changed the name of what a bed is for medical. And we approved it by right in the town. And I thought we did something with medical clinics and did not allow them to be approved. Did we vote on?
This
Something like
was a different issue. We were, this was about veterinary.
Right.
clinics.
This was a woman that came and spoke because she had a proposal for Cherry Run. And what we discussed was initiating a process, I thought, to make a change in the zoning ordinance.
Well, they changed the definition. It says they changed the definition to medical clinics and centers. So we
But
had
you
the
can't
same.
just change it. Can we just change it without?
Well, it's a recommendation to council to vote.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it was. It's a process that we initiated.
So again, but in our motion to the council, we said we allow it by right. And I thought we did something about not allowing medical clinics by right.
Early on.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I just want to say this agenda item is about the minutes, not about revisiting
I'm not,
Oh,
And so,
Well, you must make sure they're accurate.
well, I'm just asking a question. I can't vote on them anyway, because I wasn't there, so I'll shut up. It just seems like we did something.
I'm just saying if that,
Okay, I understand.
I want to be put on a future agenda.
okay,
I'll make sure it's correct, I guess. Another.
okay. Well,
I'm just gonna make a note that I question the minutes and we'll do something about it later on.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I think, George, you didn't call a planning board meeting at 6:02, because I don't think you were there, were you?
Correct. I was not there. But I'm making.
Is that the formal? No. So right here, in the minutes, I don't believe you, it says you weren't present, but it says you called the planning board to order.
Okay, so I'm making a motion to approve these. That would be part of the discussion.
Okay.
So I'm making a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Thanks.
And okay, just for, I think George is trying to get at, usually it goes with Robert's rules. Usually
Yeah, I
go-
got it.
Okay.
Fine with that. I just make one correction. I think whoever called the meeting to order, I think it was you, Jeff. You were the chair.
Good catch.
That's all. You caught that the time before.
Yeah.
Okay, you're here. We made you chair, vice chair, and clerk.
so we already have 5 people.
Mhm.
So Erica will remain an alternate today.
So do you want to know if there's other discussion?
Yeah, I have something when Victor's done writing.
Go ahead.
So on the A&R action item, approval not required. Want to make sure, I said that, that's my neighbor. I said that I disclosed that that was my neighbor's house, and that I have no financial interest or any personal interest in that project.
You did say that.
You're talking about the last topic down here.
A&R, no
Action item A,
material interest, or whatever the term would be in that,
on James Street.
yeah, in that.
Application stated to get no material interest.
Get that one.
Just to clarify Victor's question, the motion was just to, it wasn't to change any what was allowed by right in any particular district. It was just to kind of expand the definition of medical clinics and centers to include veterinary under medical. So it wasn't changing anything about the districts, which had been discussed in the previous meeting.
It says that.
Eric was gonna bring that to council. You would have updated on that's on where that stands if you were here, I think.
Okay, so I got 2 corrections to the minutes so far. Who opened the meeting and then Jeff's statement about not having a material interest in the property for action item A, the 60 James Street property. Anything else?
Okay, yeah. that's-
2 things. I'll just point out that item that Victor was expressing some interest and curiosity about will be coming back for a joint public hearing. So that'll be coming back before us. There'll be another chance to review and reflect on that. And that as far as voting, you can vote on minutes if you weren't there. You can either vote just because you believe there's integrity to the process and you trust the process, or as I did, you watch the video and you know that it reflects accurately what happened.
But either it's permissible.
Yep, absolutely.
Good to know. Thank you. Glad you vice chair to help me. I need to
Sure.
brush up on my,
It's parliamentarian.
yeah. Okay, any other discussion on the minutes? The motion to approve the minutes with
As amended.
as amended. Perfect. Anyone?
Oh, are you asking for a
I'm asking
motion?
if I have a motion for
So
that.
moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous. Okay, moving on to public hearing, application of the estate of Anna Batinsky for property located at 370 Coleraine Road, Assessor's Tax Map R27 Lot 10, which is located in the rural residential RC zoning district for a special permit pursuant to section 207.8 and 208.3 of the zoning ordinance in order to allow a flag lot at this location. And I think that some people from the applicant are here. You want to tell us about this?
It would be, just mention, it would be good to come up here so the microphone can catch it for the public.
Give us your take on what you're trying to do as we look at the documents.
So your name and
Michael Patinsky,
for the address. For the record.
369 Coleraine Road.
Thank you.
So we're trying to split the property. It's been a family farm. It was still in my mother's name. My brother and I have been running the farm. She passed away and left it to the two of us. And we're trying to split the property. The house was left to me. We have the barns, we're with the house. We don't have enough frontage to separate the house with the barns and still leave the property in the back. So that's why we're trying to do the flag lot. That's really what it amounts to, what we're trying to do.
I have one question. Time for questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Your flagpole, is there, my concern is that the angle that you put in there, and I'm just trying to think of fire trucks or anything else. I don't know what the purpose of the lot is, but in the event that something happens to where you're expecting public vehicles to go down there,
For the flag lot?
the actual piece that's coming off of Coleraine Road, you've got that sharp angle in there. I assume it's gonna be a driveway or an access way?
It's just the access to the property.
Okay, I'm just not gonna try and presume, but it looks like a very sharp access drop. Could you make it kind of more a curve or something to where it's a jump?
I mean, they did, the original, it was sharper and she did
Okay,
turn it a little bit there, it's like we
okay.
angled it a little.
I can say that we got comments from city staff forwarded to us from Eric Torog, and he said that nobody had any comments. Or they would have assessed it for that sort of thing, and whether or not it meets public safety standards and that kind of thing.
I had a question. And it relates to that. So I didn't have a chance to look up the original deeds and on the county, Franklin County Registry of Deeds. So I'm assuming that angle was because of that existing parcel of the. Yeah, just because of this existing. This was pre-existing. This-
Right.
And that's what we were saying.
Your house.
I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
Yes. And that's your house. That's your
I'm
part.
at 364 Coleraine Road.
Yeah, unfortunately, the addresses aren't on here, so it's hard to know what's what, but, yeah, I had the same reaction about the angle, also public safety, but you're using this for farming, correct?
Yeah, that's what it is.
And long-term plan?
And
I mean, I'm just going to put this out there because we keep losing prime farmland and Coleraine Road is full of prime farmland. That it would be great if you do further subdivide this or sell it for whatever, that you keep residential towards the street and keep the back open, preserve that farm. If it ever comes to that.
yeah, well,
You're shaking your head, no, you're still farming. I see your beautiful shirt, so looks like you're invested in your farm. But anyway, for future, your children, your heirs, whatever. Because I see there's a brook here also, I'm sure as far as the hydraulic of this site, I mean, it looks like it's prime land, so I would hope that.
yeah.
So for me, I have no problem in subdividing and doing these flags and keeping everything to the rear because that's a mechanism, a planning mechanism or
Right.
survey mechanism to preserve that back for farming and do residential along the road. A lot of towns do that. And so I'm in full support of that, but I would just do everything you can in your estate planning to make sure it stays farmland. So,
So you're carving out 7.84 acres from the overall farm, is that right? Why so much land if the goal is just to preserve, to peel the house out?
Well, so we're splitting the farm. So on the other side of the road, across the road from that, there's more farmland, which is gonna stay with me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna keep the buildings,
mhm.
the house, the land on the other side and down along by the swimming pool.
Okay.
And about 8 acres behind the barn.
Do you share the barns between you? The
Well-
barns are always
We've been working it together.
for, yeah,
I mean, that's
right.
what we've been doing. But it came down to being able to split it.
Yeah, you have to somehow do it.
Neither one of us wanted to buy the other half.
Right.
Do that. We each wanted to have something from it.
It's a good plan.
Makes Yeah. And it also makes sense to follow the brook, so that was intentional, but
Yeah, a part of the.
that, putting that boundary line kind of on.
Some of the brook stays.
Yeah, because you can't really do it.
You'd be keeping the farm stand if you kind of open that back up or not.
I don't know.
All miss. Well, anyway.
Health issues are kind of what
Yeah,
pushed that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And we're still doing the hay and, and lease some of the land.
great.
George?
Yeah, as far as, I think to address, Erica, what you were saying, just looking at in the, part of the zoning ordinance that speaks specifically to flag lots. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch Eric's, indication he wasn't gonna be here, because I would have asked him about this specifically. But, some portion of the regulation says, once approved as a flag lot, such a lot shall not be used for other than a single-family use or subsequently be subdivided unless as part of an approved definitive subdivision plan. And it says, plans submitted under this section shall be the same as the plan submitted to the planning board under the subdivision control law. And the planning board shall not endorse any plan under the subdivision control law for the purpose of creating a flag lot unless a special permit has been issued for the flag lot. So I was a little confused by that. I don't know if, when you guys read that, if you had a sense of that. I was about the timing. If, the flag lot gets approved and then subsequently a subdivision plan could be submitted. So I don't know if you folks have a understanding of that process.
No, that can happen, but that's why I made my comment about as possible preserving. But I don't know if the 55 feet is enough for a subdivision.
And that's what I think
Front-
Victor was
The frontage, yeah.
considering as far as if there were
Yeah.
a need for
Yeah, I mean, it seems
significant
like
access.
it's written sort of as if it's gonna be a single family home on the back of this lot, period.
Well, you're talking about just it being farmland.
Right. So I'm saying the bylaw is written like it's a single family home.
Well, it says unless part of an approved subdivision. So
Right.
my reading of this is if you have a special permit has been issued for a flag lot, which we're being asked to issue, then you could come back with saying, we want to have a
A subdivision.
a subdivision.
Yeah.
Sure. Does anyone think that's inaccurate or is that?
You could come back.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
That's my reading of it.
We would
Yeah,
want them to
once,
come back.
once we get them, we can't do that at the same time as a flag lot, maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's what I heard.
I'm not
You said-
discrediting your plans or your statement. I'm just saying, trying to understand from point of view of our understanding of our responsibility.
So give me the code section, please.
Sure. So that's
Check right now.
section 200-7.8 flag lots, and I was reading sections L, M, and N.
Thank you. Yeah, so then, thank you.
The The frontage is, let's see.
Okay. Page is that?
It might be.
Oh, 99.
So,
Oh, it's 99 on my most recent, my eight. Yeah, page 9.
but 200-7.8.
And we need to- Oh. In.
Hey, flag, I think of it as a pole and then a flag and that's looking for the flagpole.
So,
Just, Jeff, I just want to comment that, everything we say at this table is supposed to be audible to the public, so just want to mention about side conversations, it's problematic.
Yeah, no, I was just remembering that.
She was looking at the frontage.
So just clarify there. The frontage requirements increase the more development you have. So for multifamily dwelling lots, it's a minimum of 100 feet. And depending on the zone, and then it goes to 140 and 200. So and then you have wetland setbacks here. So I'm sure when you subdivided this, you took this into consideration. It's farmland, so.
Thank you.
Wait, we had a comment from the public?
Well, we're waiting for the, I think it's just waiting for the presentation, then we'll go to public hearing.
Anything else?
I think that's covers what we're gonna say.
Okay, and any other questions for this gentleman first?
No.
Okay, and we had some other folks in the public.
Want to come up here,
Yeah,
right?
so if you come up here and say your name and your address, so we into the microphone.
A lot of these three people.
Lisa Jean, 364 Coleraine Road. It's on the little 0.47 acres that is there. So I know you were, ma'am, discussing about the road frontage for the flagpole. What is the required minimum road frontage for the flagpole?
50 feet.
Okay. And then, oh, yes, there. So like you can encourage farmland and stuff, but there's really no guarantees as to what would end up back there behind my house, correct?
Well, right now, it's farmland and because of this small frontage, you're gonna have a hard time if you want to change that, the whole process. So,
Change what? What would I want to change?
no, if somebody would
Oh.
want to do a big multifamily subdivision here, there's not enough frontage according to the bylaws.
Okay. So if there was something going back there, obviously that would have to go through a whole nother approval process,
Absolutely. We're just approving the flag.
just the flag.
And whether or not we approve the flag lot, a subdivision plan could still be brought forward
Sure.
to subdivide this all up in all sorts
But
of ways.
it's completely independent.
Yeah.
This doesn't have
Okay.
any bearing on that.
Right.
So it's
This
just
does not
approval of
guarantee.
the
We're not
flag.
approving anything other than the little taxes. That's all.
Okay. And the road frontage currently, you said the minimum's 50 and what is it? Do you know?
55.
Okay. And so when you were talking about the sharpness of the angle, you were talking about coming in off of Coleraine Road or this here?
Oh, yeah, coming in and making that turn.
Dog leg.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And there's wetlands across too.
So that's,
Okay, that's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we can only do so much. We can't attempt to regulate some hypothetical future use on the basis of this type of application. Oh,
Correct.
want to speak? Okay, come on up. Name and address, please.
Sandra Ackerman, 386 Coleraine Road,
Oh, last
I live next door.
So you're on the south.
Right, north.
North.
Oh, to the north. Oh, this is on the west side. All of this.
So I don't have any objection to what they want to do, but I do have objections to the surveyor. I thought she would be here tonight. We spoke last fall, and I have a lot of things I could say, but mainly, I'm being taxed for several years for the dirt road that she has them owning. She surveyed that they own it, but I'm being taxed for it. It's the north. uh, South of me.
Okay. A little dotted line right there.
It should, that's something for the Board of Assessors.
Yes.
Pardon me?
That should be taken up with the Board of Assessors.
I have.
Okay.
He shrugs his shoulders.
Is there a right-of-way easement?
I have a right of way and I thought they had a right of way. It's pretty confusing. And then, what's the other thing about?
You're saying that the survey is inaccurate?
I'm questioning it
It looks like the road is on the
because
new parcel.
when she met with me last fall, she made some comments about the way she surveyed and I just haven't had time to try to pursue about it.
There are some pins set. And there's a pipe in the tree and there's a pin. Pins are set. I mean,
She put a.
she set the pins?
On Coleraine Road that was never there.
Oh, the surveyor did, okay. I mean, that would be something, but that's almost like a title search and you have to go back through the old documentation, which is all at the Registry of Deeds. I mean, that's something you can do. That's
I've
one
had
thing, but
copies. I've had
okay.
copies.
the taxation thing, that's with the assessor and you can ask them, I'm sure they have a formula for acreage. What they charge for the acreage, based on acreage, what the valuation of your land is, and you could sit down with the assessor
I'll
and
question
ask them
her
to
surveying.
to make sure that that's deducted from.
Is the building that it leads to, where is that? There's a building that farm road seems to lead to.
Is that their shed, I think, in the back?
It's.
I don't have.
This one right back here.
I see three buildings on the aerial and only one on the drawing.
That's theirs, not
Is
mine.
that the only access to that shed? So here's the road
Yeah,
and there's the shed.
I know, right?
And that's how you get to it.
It's,
And
The,
that will be on the back, parcels
It
property.
doesn't quite look like it's on the based on this line.
the deed or the map I have shows, you see the bridge, the brook and the bridge way back?
That's good, maybe he can see.
Have, you can't see it on the screen there. We're just looking at an aerial.
No, it's just marked, it's just indicated there's a bridge.
So, the surveyor, we walked out and she showed me where she put a pin in front of the bridge. And,
Oh,
then my land goes over toward theirs and then back again.
Right, yep, you can see it on the boundaries on there, and it jogs.
Looking at the wrong road.
So you're saying that the road, 'cause she's showing the road mostly on the side of the Patinsky farm?
Yep.
And then it shifts a little bit as you go west. But just towards the end, and then it shifts back. And then I mean, that road kind of jogs back and forth. But if it's a taxation issue you're concerned about,
It's a survey also, so.
well, the survey is a legal document. It should be accurate. The only
Yep.
way to check that would be to ask another surveyor to come and do a survey and check it. And then, take the width of the road, have the surveyor tell you how long it is.
So,
And you could deduct the area and ask the assessor to deduct that or
Or
whatever.
just move the road to the
Yeah.
other side of the line. 'cause it's a
Or
dirt
yeah,
road.
you
I
could move
want
the
to
road.
find out about it. I want to find out about, I want to have the survey checked.
Yeah,
But
then
it's
you
not
can
us.
always hire another surveyor.
We can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Also, I think for what it's worth, the flag lot delineation doesn't impact that line.
No.
The line,
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
so they're not moving the line between your property and their property there. adding a line over here that's not
Yes, I
related
have seen that.
to. Okay, so I'm just trying to separate that
But
issue
they'll,
from.
you know,
our
so
approval of
if
the
they
flag.
sell it, then, you know, I wanted to have it all. I want to know for sure before it gets sold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can, just for both parties, it's because I had a similar dispute on a property I owned once. The survey and the registry of deeds was right, but they had an understanding of something else, the neighbor. And we had a survey come out and it ends up that they were in the same situation as I was in on the other side. So anyway, it clarified boundaries and we put it in writing. It was an additional thing that was added in writing and that was then registered at the registry of deeds. So you're reaffirming whatever understanding agreement about right of ways where everything is, and it's at the registry, so it helps clarify. But I would recommend hiring another surveyor to get an idea on
She
the.
told me last fall, when we walked the road, that she determined their border by starting on my frontage. I don't think that's the correct way to do it.
Well,
I have 147 feet of frontage.
right.
It's land on the other side of me a few years ago, and there's a lot of issues.
Usually what surveyors will do, because there's a lot of Greenfield has been surveyed a long time. They go back to the oldest point
I know.
that's fixed in the
I've
ground.
seen the.
And then they work their way-
1800s on all this property.
Right, and then they work their way out. Most of these points are fixed. Trees are less reliable, but things that are in the ground, either a stone monument or a pin. That's so, and then they reconstruct, and they have to go out very far to find those fixed points and check everything, which is actually described verbally in a deed. That you start at this point.
Only thing I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I've
Yeah, maybe we can think-
doing this for 4
Yeah.
years.
This is an achievement.
So she said she started surveying by
No,
my
you're-
land. How much frontage I had. So that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm gonna be pursuing it.
Okay, well, I think it's just our decision on this, we're not even making a decision today, it's just a public hearing, but the question of whether or not the flag lot should or shouldn't, or is or isn't allowed, doesn't impact that line. That's a
No.
separate.
I don't have any objections to what they
Okay.
want to do. I just want to
Understood.
be
Well,
sure
I think
about the borders.
Erica made some suggestions on who to talk to and keep chasing it down and
And outside.
figure it out.
I didn't catch your address, I'm sorry.
386.
386, thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Anything else from the public? Anybody on the line virtually that would like to say anything? I know Eric is not gonna, he's next, but okay,
And we can, by the way, Jeff, we can make a decision on this when we have a public hearing like this. We can.
on the front, okay, even if it's not on the agenda?
Well, it's inherent in the public hearing. Yeah.
Okay, then, okay, so I will close the public hearing at 6:53 PM. And now ask if there's any interest in a motion to go ahead and approve the special permit application.
I'll move to approve it.
A second,
Sorry.
discussion?
Is it worth going through all the criteria? I assume that the planning department did that, but there are, A through N conditions on approving flag lot. I don't know if it's worth going through.
So we have Eric's memo, the official opinion of the Department of Planning and Development. And he has no issues with the proposed project. So
I mean, I reviewed them, it seemed in compliance.
Okay,
I think I would defer to Eric on this if he were here, and he's here via his memo.
uh-huh. Yeah, and I also,
And that gets written up in the approval and it has to be completed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still have to check all the boxes.
Yeah.
Building department will make sure they follow those rules. Okay, so all in favor of approving the special permit?
Aye.
Everybody.
All right, passes, unanimous. So thank you all for coming. You can stick around, but then we're moving on to the next thing on the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay, item
Enjoy retirement.
Sorry.
I don't know how you're just learning that, huh?
Good luck with the phone. Keep it running.
All right, next item, approval not required plan endorsement for lots of 54 Factory Hollow Road, parcel R0512 and 0618, submitted by Eric Findell. And we have the surveyor here to represent the applicant. If you want to just, it's a very elaborate survey here, so if you want to just tell us what's going on. And you're muted, Eric. He's not muted.
I did too.
He's working on it.
It's quite a parcel.
Still muted. Or maybe, Victor, maybe you need to unmute him.
Okay.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's a busy plan. So, but actually what we're doing is fairly straightforward. If would you like me to walk you through it?
Yes.
Yeah, we also don't have the benefit of Eric being here to, let's.
Oh, yeah, right, exactly.
So,
Exactly. So this is a property owned by the Stotts family over in Factory Hollow. They actually own parcels on both sides of the Fall River. Their property is made up of actually 7 tracts. This plan represents, I think, maybe 5 of those. And what they're doing is they're going to be putting in majority of the tracts in their deed into conservation restriction with through the Franklin Land Trust. But in order to do that, they need to reconfigure the lot line between their house lot and the rest of the property because the land trust does not want the tennis courts, obviously. So if you were to look at the plan, just below, if you go to the big CR2 label and then go south, you'll see there's a tract line there, and that's labeled AB. That is the current property line between tax map R06 lot 18 and tax map R05 lot 12. Both of those lots are in common ownership with the Stottses. But what they'd like to do is move that line down south to the line that's marked CD, and that's going to run sort of at an angle northeasterly. And they're going to move that line down to there. And what that's going to do is that's going to increase the area of R0512. It will reduce the area of it'll increase the area of R0618. It'll decrease the area of R0512. And what it will do is it will create an exception lot, if you will, around the house, the tennis courts, which will not go into the conservation restriction. It does not affect frontage. It really just affects the location of the line between the 2 assessed lots. So that's all that we're asking for the endorsement.
Boy, that's simple compared to this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We don't, this was pretty straightforward. I think we just it's just necessary for the conservation. It actually isn't even necessary for the conservation restriction, but the land trust likes to configure the lots such that if people want to go ahead and sell the accepted land, then they don't have to come back to you at that time and do it.
That's right. Sure.
You know.
What are all these parcels being used for currently?
Oh, currently
They're-
they're vacant lots. I mean, I don't know if you've been out there, but there's trails.
I got up to their front driveway and then I decided, I'm not gonna keep going.
Yeah,
Sure.
no.
I ran
Yeah.
into one of the brothers. I came back.
It's heavily forested. It's along the river. There's currently some, hiking trails out there. I believe one of the Stottses does a lot of mountain biking, and there's mountain biking trails, especially on the Gill side. So it's really, it's not currently being, used for much more than recreation at this point. There was an old, if you go halfway up the river, you'll see there was the old International Paper Dam that was removed back in 2014. So all of this was international paper land at one point, including even if you go further north, the Boy Scout camp and such. So it's nice. It seems like a nice place for the land to end up after all the usage history there. So
You said it's going into the Franklin County Land Trust?
yeah, correction. Franklin Land Trust. Yeah.
Franklin.
Yeah.
No county.
No county.
Franklin Land Trust. All right, thank you.
Correct. Yep.
Eric, do you know, is there a plan after this goes to the land trust for public access to the reconstituted area there?
I don't know. I don't represent the land trust, so I don't know what their plans are. Sometimes they do provide public access. I think it depends on what the agreement is between them and the landowners. I don't know that as the surveyor, I don't know what that agreement is.
The reason I ask is we're just finishing up approval of a revision of our master plan, which includes the hope to increase access to the Fall River on the Greenfield side. So
yeah.
And it's lovely that it's all being preserved,
yeah, but it would be great if
but.
like you talk about hiking trails and stuff.
It's private land from the road at least. mean,
I
that's
think
private, that's private.
Yeah, the only issue would be just that, if I was the landowner, it's really going to come down to whether you want people walking through your dooryard or not. I think there is the potential for access from the Gill side if somebody wanted to, construct a bridge or something over the Fall River in spots. There are places where that could potentially happen.
Thanks.
Like a walking bridge or whatnot. There's also the possibility of access through, at some point if Mackins did something with that property, I don't know, but.
Thanks. Just curious. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So is there anyone, yeah,
I'll make a motion to endorse this A&R now that I understand it.
I'll second it.
any further discussion?
One of the most interesting A&Rs I've seen.
Yeah, I think, I can't imagine how, what it would violate that Eric Torag would say we need to worry about. If Eric has looked at this and you've been in touch with Eric Torag to.
Yeah, I did talk to him. When I dropped it off. He, Eric seemed to think that we could handle this through the assessors. I have not heard of that. So the traditional method would be, even though this is fairly straightforward and simple, we always just do it with an A&R. I have to look into that. He said that there was a way to make the application, if it's just a common ownership lot line switch without any sort of frontage changes, but this seemed like the safest way to do it. So
He didn't object to doing it this way.
no, not at all. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Compliments to whoever drafted the plan. I thought it was well done. And because I did go out there, I ended up driving around and coming down to Gill and then walked around, but I was able to find my way thanks to the plan.
Oh,
So
great. Thank you. I appreciate the comment. Yeah.
compliments.
Yeah.
So all in favor of approving the approval not required
Endorsing.
endorsing?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and then,
I move to have the chair
yep,
sign on behalf of the board.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I will go get this signed once we get in touch with Eric Forog and sign this, and it's 5 or 6 copies, and I'll do that.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. Yep.
Thanks,
All right.
Eric.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Have a
Yeah.
good night.
Yeah.
Okay, last item is planning board's continued discussion of proposed master plan chapter updates with specific focus on the vision, goals, and strategies and implementation items of the land use chapter.
Does anybody know if the first section that we kind of finished reviewing during our last meeting, on natural historic cultural resources, has that already been submitted? Because I wanted to add something.
My recollection from hearing and watching was that it was decided not to vote on it at the last meeting and to, because this says continued discussion of the proposed master plan chapter updates, with specific focus on the land use chapter at this meeting. And then there was going to be a vote on both chapters at this meeting.
Okay.
That was my recollection, though it's only listed under discussion items and not listed under action items, which I thought was the intention, but it's not listed on the agenda under action items.
Okay.
So,
Got a note from Nancy that she was trying to get into the meeting.
oh, no.
She's been joining us at these meetings to give us more context on.
Right, right.
And her note to use the codes.
I did.
Oh,
I
good.
told her others have gotten in using the code and she should do the same. I just,
Maybe a glass of water.
okay, well, maybe give her just a minute, see if it comes in and we can pull up the chapter.
A lot of new goals. Maybe I should wait to make this comment, but this, under land use, the majority of the actions are new.
Well, we were in the other as well. Right, in
Yeah,
natural stuff.
that's true.
So I might have spoken out of turn, Erica. Getting out of chair mode, but you had, because you had asked about reverting back to some of the former chapter. I'll defer to you, Jeff.
Yeah, I think so it's one of the things that Eric Torog said last time, reminded us that this document has been through a lot of process, a lot of time. Nancy has demonstrated, you've been on the committee as well, right?
Do you want me to respond?
Yeah.
So this went through, I'll just review the process again. It went through the students of the Conway School, and there were 4 members of the SGIC Master Plan Implementation Committee who worked with them, and they mostly completed this document. And then mostly it was that subgroup of the Master Plan Implementation Committee that completed this document with the implementation, right? And then this was vetted by the entire implementation committee. And then it was coming to us. I think this is an impactful document. I know in going through this last chapter, I found multiple errors and things that, are already accomplished that need to be removed and things like that, or things that I think are in a section they don't belong in, things like that. And I think this is our final chance to, because we own this, is to clean it up or, improve it. So I don't think it's disrespectful to the effort or the integrity of the former work, but I don't think certainly we want to rubber stamp it. And I think people were, recognizing that. But I think, and I agree with having heard the comments at last month's meeting, we don't need to read through line by line. And I appreciated hearing that people said, oh, yeah, this is our document. And so we can read through it line by line outside of our meetings, obviously. And I'm sure people have done that. But just that, we want to have this as fine-tuned as possible to represent this town and to, shape things going forward, because it's meant to be a really quality guide to, to the town's future. So
Eric in the last meeting gave me a sense that it had been vetted more thoroughly than that. And like, it's finished unless you wanted to add something, not that it needs wordsmithing and changing, almost like that, ooh, don't do that. He almost had a heart attack, I thought, when we were like,
Right.
so it felt like it was a little more done than maybe, but you're in it, if you're finding mistakes,
Yeah,
I'm not at that level, so I don't know.
I heard Eric respectfully disagreeing with the chair at the last meeting, and so I'm respectfully disagree. I know he was getting impatient with it and stuff like this, and I think, you know, you don't want to
I don't know if
go,
that has anything to do with his absence here today.
you don't want to be overly sluggish. I agree with that. But we do want to do our due diligence, and so that's what I would say, is that we're the final better of this thing. So,
Makes a lot of sense to
Yeah.
eliminate errors.
yeah, and your district
Sure.
about the industry and innovation
Yeah,
you added last time was great.
Right.
You know, it's an big oversight.
I have another ad.
Yeah, I think.
But I want to throw this out there for vetting, but I'll wait
How do
for
you
my
want to
turn.
do
Just procedurally, I think if there's an error, we should fix it. If there's something important that's missing that we want to modify, we should fix it or modify it. That's not to say we shouldn't get in here where we need to. But we can just, and if we just pick the items up as they come, and we can go through our notes and the items we want to focus on, we can talk about it. Otherwise, trust that at least most of the work is well vetted and very thought through.
So I have comments for the second part, but the first part, for some reason, I thought it was going to come up in the second section, but it didn't. So in natural, historical, and cultural resources under 4, I'm wondering if we could, this is ensure that residents can access town parks, rivers, water bodies. If we could, if it makes sense, I'm putting this out there to everyone, to add something to the effect of creating pedestrian access that's well indicated with signage or something to Poet Seat, because Poet Seat is the symbol everywhere for Greenfield. You see it on our gateway entrances, welcome to Greenfield. But if you're downtown Greenfield, you can't get to it, and the winding road up to it is not very safe for pedestrian. It is within pedestrian access, and usually people are hiking up to the top of things, like to have a walk. So do you think that makes sense to add that somewhere?
It's referenced in the write-up. And it references wanting to improve access to Poets.
Right,
Seat
but
in the
there's
actual, but it's not in
nothing,
here.
yeah, it's not in there.
Yeah, I appreciate you raising it, because I live right around the corner from there, and I actually go up there a lot. You know, I walk or drive up
Right.
that road or bike,
Yeah,
and it's like a super wide road, and there really could be easily accessed. And I'm thinking, if you walk from right downtown, up Main, Crescent, down, you know, you
Yeah.
can be up a Poet, it's like a 15-minute walk.
and it
10-minute
can be a
walk.
scenic, nice walk.
But when you hit the end of mountain, it just sort of disappears,
Right.
sidewalk disappears, and you just have no
Exactly.
idea where you're going, and it's
My point.
dangerous. So, yeah, it surprises me that it's basically so inaccessible. Even though it's right there, and it's in very walking distance, so I would support adding something.
So where were you thinking that would
I
go?
was thinking in 4 for access.
Is this under
Ensure that,
NHC
yes,
resources?
NHC resources 4, ensure that residents can access the town's parks, rivers, and water bodies. And I would just add that in there. Pedestrian access to, I mean, here
I
they're
would say
like,
pedestrian and bicycle.
yeah, pedestrian and bicycle. I mean, we talk a lot about FRTA and other, I mean, there is a little bit walking distances, areas within walking distances in like 4.2 assessed weather, but I feel like we need, yeah. This is not for everybody, for not only environmental justice areas, but visitors to town residents that maybe we study.
It should definitely be in 4.
Huh?
Should be definitely enforced.
Yeah. Maybe we study the development of a walkable pedestrian access to these areas, a map that we hand out with signage. I mean, maybe we put it in a,
Just stay aligned to and areas of historical interest instead of
Yeah.
spelling out a place.
yeah, no, it's
Fill it out
in
A
general,
place.
but
Just say
pedestrian
something.
access,
That's
not,
already in there, right? You have access.
It's not just
to-
historical, it's recreational.
yeah.
I mean, that's what.
Well, then it's already covered. If it's recreational, it's already covered. Because I think recreational is listed, right? So if it's a recreational area, then it's already in 4. But you're wanting to spell it out as a specific place to look at. That's like saying, the park on the corner. You
Yeah.
know, why are we putting it in specific?
Well, George, this last time this came up because it talks about access of Fall River and Green River, but then there's actually nothing to do. Then it's just ironic that this thing comes up to us, you know? But do you remember that last time you raised that concern?
Well, we were just talking with Eric about it,
And
yeah.
there's nothing to do, so.
Well, maybe there is.
Maybe there
No,
is,
there, yeah.
maybe there is.
Is there
And,
a,
you know, it also ties into having this lovely, accessible, attractive downtown. I mean, it goes two ways, you know, people who are up there, maybe they want to walk downtown anyway, whatever. I mean, I'm focusing on that Poet Seats because a lot of people who don't know anything about Greenfield, they see the tower. A lot of towns have towers, a lot of cities have towers. They leave, they don't even know anything about it, and it's a really precious spot up there. It's like the wedding photo spot. And every town needs one, and we need to toot our horn a little more, and having a kind of nice pedestrian signage way, follow this path, will get you there. Similar to bike trails, also a safe bike path up there would be nice. That's all. I don't know where to put it, but that was my first guess, was in 4.
Are you talking about creating a way to get there or promoting it?
Well, right now, there is not a safe way to get there once you get once you get to the bottom of the hill, what's it called?
Bottom of Crescent.
Bottom Crescent,
Yeah,
yeah.
when you hit the mountain, it's all,
it's not-
there's no
it's-
sidewalk.
Yeah, and I don't feel safe riding up there, and I don't feel safe walking up there. A lot of blind curves.
When you come down Crescent and then it turns and then the exit in Highland Park comes in. But right down there, there's no sidewalks. You're out of sidewalks when you get down to that part of Crescent. And then it turns and then becomes Mountain Road and it goes up all the way.
Yeah.
And there's nothing there, just 2 road cars.
And they go very fast.
So it's sort of that chute has no pedestrian or biking access, it's just a road.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the road. I don't know who owns the land to the side of the road. You know, maybe it winds its way through, but it would just be nice to have some way to get up there. I've always asked people, how do you get up there if you're just walking? Without putting your life in your hands on that.
for what it's worth, in HC number 1.1, implement the 2021 open space and recreation plan. And that document has a very long list of very specific things like that. I just did a
Was
word.
it in there?
Well,
Okay.
most each was a 15 times, so I didn't get through all of them yet.
Okay,
But I
that's all
would
right. Then,
guess that the intention of putting the reference to that plan is so that that can kind of be for the amount of, the very long list of specific things. So maybe check and make sure it's in there. And
Good
things that
point.
might not be in there, we could add to our plan.
so then the only thing I would generalize it and say is access, because we have access via public transportation. I would say just via pedestrian and bike trails.
It
Have
says-
that line.
Make needed improvements to Poet Seat, Rocky Mountain Ridge, such as investigating opportunities to improve pedestrian safety and pedestrian access to Poet Seat and Satcham's Head from Maple Street to Rocky Mountain Road and improving connections to other
Okay.
open spaces,
Alright.
hiking trails. That's in the open space plan.
Okay,
So I agree with you 100%. But I just don't want to be redundant.
Yep, yep.
right, all right.
That's the thing.
I think that, I mean, you need it to be in this plan so that we can then point to it and say, hey, we said we were going to do this.
Yep.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. But so I think maybe go through the open space plan and make sure, it was done relatively recently
Yep.
by FERCog, but
Agree. Good point.
see if there's anything missing there and then that we could
Okay,
append it.
all right.
Thank you. Good comments. All right, so for land use. Did anybody, I guess I should just ask if there's anything specific we could make our way through the section, we could start with land use one, anything in that area, that zone that people had comments?
Just wanted to check, we've tried to help Nancy get on.
Yeah, I'm checking my email and she hasn't replied.
Okay.
So she emailed me a while ago. I didn't
Hmm.
see it, but
She called me,
you did, okay.
yeah. But obviously I don't have my phone on.
We should. I'll check in with the clerk again, or
Should we email her? or-
I did.
Oh.
I just told her how to get in.
And she hasn't responded.
That's right. Maybe she just
I guess
give up
we
or she'll check later. I mean, if she pops in, we'll.
Can we call her?
her.
Maybe we could I hate to suggest this, continue this discussion. Once we have everything that we want to say, maybe we could, give Nancy a chance to discuss at a future meeting.
Yeah, I mean, my sense from her was she was there to answer questions.
Oh,
So I think if we have a question and we feel like we need her input, we could table that. But she's not going to change anything. She's, I think, representing this as what she would like to see adopted.
Yeah.
And I don't think she was expecting us to check, hey, are you okay with this?
Right.
She was just wanting to offer clarification if we had questions for her.
Right.
And again, we don't have it as just an action item, so I don't think we're voting on this tonight anyway.
So we have one more chance.
So you want to just ask,
I think let's go through. So land use 1, so the first goal, cultivate a lively, attractive and accessible downtown environment. So just within the strategies, implementation actions under that goal, did anyone have anything they wanted to edit, fix or adjust?
Got a couple of simple ones under 1.3. The third implementation action, a very simple one. It says investigate the use of a bylaw. We don't have bylaws because we're a city. Bylaws are for towns. So it should be investigate the use of an ordinance for vacant commercial property. And they use bylaw because the example they give, the Arlington Vacant Commercial Property Registry, which I looked at and it's interesting, they have bylaws.
Yeah.
So it should be ordinance.
Okay.
And then
Shoot. Just a joke.
And then 2 down, the first one under 1.4, just a word missing. Just, seek funding for the oversight of downtown cleanup. And the one just below that, I think this is from the point of view of stakeholders. Support and fund decorative flower boxes, plantings in downtown, including maintenance and watering. I was hoping Nancy was here for this because I believe the Greenfield Garden Club does that already.
They're stretched so thin.
Sorry?
They're stretched very thin.
But haven't they had a history of doing that?
Yeah, but they're
I
stretched
just-
thin, so it doesn't happen.
there are plantings downtown
Mm-hmm.
that have, there's one by the post office I walk by all the time. I'm not sure where the other ones are off the top of my head, but I'm not sure. I think those are individually sponsored by businesses,
Okay.
but
A lot of times.
organized by the garden club.
I didn't want to disrespect the garden club by not including them if they're already.
No,
doing
I
this. That's
don't
what I
think
meant.
that came through at all. That's not
No.
what you're saying. I'm just saying that I know they're stretched thin and they're,
But do they still sometimes do that?
yeah, I'm not the person to ask, but
Okay.
my sense was that it's,
We just need to take that out though.
No, I would suggest adding it, but we
As a
can check.
stakeholder.
Yes, that's
It would be
under stakeholders.
just,
Yeah.
I understood that.
Yeah, the garden club as a stakeholder. Is that what you're saying?
Greenfield Garden Club. Yeah, just garden club.
As a stakeholder, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Understood.
Just to honor their work. They've been doing this for years. It's my understanding. Maybe they're, having trouble doing it, but I didn't want to.
Can't, it's
Just
just.
them.
What section is that under again?
I'm sorry, that's under
1.4.
1.4, the second implementation action.
The first one had a missing word, this one has a missing stakeholder.
Right. That's all I had on that.
Wait
page.
till the next one comes, it'll be even bigger.
That's all I had on that page myself.
Okay.
And the kind of overarching theme of 1.4 was help with maintenance and explore ways to make program financially sustainable. Because part of that is we're asking a lot of the businesses and we're asking a lot of the same group of volunteers, so I guess that falls into that. I had one thing about kind of with signage and a Greenfield kind of branding thing, that if we want to be asking for some consistency along Main Street, or that, like we have like lamppost planters all the way up and down the streets, or we have I don't know if we want to have something that kind of reinforces the quote unquote Greenfield downtown brand, which doesn't really exist yet, but once we finish our complete streets upgrades, we'll have lots of opportunities for planters. And has everybody seen those plans?
Seeing which plans?
The complete streets, the paving, planned and
Of
the
Main
new
Street.
layouts of Main Street, yeah.
I was gonna ask about that and where that stands and.
They're I got a 25% set from Eric. I can
And we don't
email
have to talk about it in a
Yeah.
second, but I was just curious where.
It's in process,
And
but
who,
he
and
said
we ever get a bite of
2027.
that, or do we look at it? No, no say
I don't
anything.
think so.
The
The
Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
State.
Public Works, DPW,
No, it's the state that's funding.
state is funding, but DPW is also involved? No.
But the
I don't know.
decision to go angle versus parallel, all that, I mean, who decide, that's, they're deciding
The
that?
state is funding the project and they have certain parameters about what they'll fund, what designs they will fund and what designs they will not fund.
It's also based on the existing width. So it's between 40 and 45 feet is the paved area. And
Yeah, way
between the
off.
buildings, it's between 90 and 95
I
feet.
don't need to take it
So,
down.
okay.
Planters, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah,
but she-
Well,
I know.
she's
We
talking
can
about
come
that.
back to this
Yeah.
another time. I was kind of curious where the design planning was for Main Street, and it
Yeah.
seems very relevant to all this planning, because it's something that's gonna really happen. So
Mm-hmm.
but
So the planters on poles is just your idea. That's not,
It's not my own personal idea. I'm just saying there's so many other things you could add to this, but to make it, to reinforce our downtown commercial
Yeah.
area, to have a little more coherence from one.
it's not something you've heard someone else propose. You're bringing this up in this room, but you haven't heard someone else propose this.
No.
Okay. I'm just trying to clarify, so.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always wary of ambitious projects. You're saying the garden club is stretched thin and stuff like that, of things that are organic as far as sustaining them.
Mhm.
Where there's, downtown is a brutal environment for trees, plants,
Right.
obviously. And so, because sustaining trees in a healthy way is challenging in that environment. So I'm,
My
trying to be not overly ambitious
Right.
in that setting, so.
Just to clarify, my point was more in having a consistent aesthetic that reinforces and unifies our main central
Mhm.
downtown artery.
Yep.
Because right now it's a little bit of everything, and some of it's stripped with our setbacks and car dealers and garages and stuff. And so just to slowly that we take steps in having a really solid downtown pleasant street to walk in. And
land use 1.3.
yeah, I mean, it would go in that, but the idea of just having something,
For facade improvement program to aid
Yeah, it could
building
be.
owners to make facade improvements.
Mhm.
I was sort of curious about that, because I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement in building facades, and it's a little bit what you're getting.
right?
And that's a new one. George, is there much talk or excitement around the challenge of doing facade improvements and getting businesses to do facade improvements?
Is there, I'm not sure.
I mean,
Not there yet.
But we don't have to worry about whether or not they're. It can be infeasible and, we'll get around to it at some point. This is,
I just don't know what the history is around it, but I only raised that because it's something close to what Erica was saying.
Mhm.
I think
on
it's
design.
in my opinion, if you put all these together, it's getting pretty close to what Eric is talking about. It's not stated and
Yeah.
quite as
Right.
concisely, but it's the undertone of this section.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at, under 1.3, use the state sanitary code, that's a low bar. But if you look at the Arlington vacant property thing, registry, that has some teeth to it, because if that were to be implemented as an ordinance, it requires property owners to register. It requires them to report how they're trying to promote it. And it requires them to pay into a certain amount of money into the system. So, there's it puts some pressure on them to try to do it. And also, this is obviously trying to get them to have the next implementation action is suggesting trying to have temporary, users, in there.
This is an important section. This is
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
stuff.
You're talking about,
Yeah, here, I'm gonna sum it up more succinctly.
yeah.
Design guidelines for downtown.
Mhm.
That that sums it all up. That would take in all this stuff. Landscaping of, our sidewalks, that's planters, that's benches, that's lighting, all that stuff. And design guidelines, how facades are treated. And maybe we even talk about a design review process for any development and new building and signage in, I know there's a signage process right here. There's a signage approval process in Greenfield or no? For signs, is there do you have to get approval to put a sign on your building in Greenfield, in your downtown?
It depends on, I mean, if you have to get special approval if it's outside of
Outside
the,
of the parameters.
outside of the parameters.
Yeah, but otherwise you can do what you want. Nobody's reviewing those.
It's 10 by 10, you can do whatever you want on a
Okay.
10 by 10.
Anyway, for our downtown, we're trying to reinforce our downtown, and part of a successful downtown is having a personality that's unique to a downtown. So maybe to sum up all these things I'm kind of incoherently throwing about, we, under one of these things, say, study the development of design guidelines for our downtown or our main downtown commercial
So,
streets.
You'd put it in 1.1, so.
yeah, because in there, it says investigate whether form-based code is applicable. So you're talking about.
Form-based is a
Oh,
little
No,
different.
no, let me finish this.
Yeah.
You're talking about an overall design vision. And so it would seem
Guideline.
it would fall under 1.1, but you have to come up with language.
Mhm.
Correct. If we're gonna put it in there, and it sounds like you don't have language yet. to propose.
I haven't written the language. I'm floating it out there. If you
Right.
want, I'll write a sentence.
Well, we
Bring it
can't
next
vote on
to
it
you.
now, so we can consider it and then vote on it next time.
I'll come up
It's
with a line.
important, it's an important concept. We should decide if we like it or
We
not.
discussed this early on, the whole idea of form-based design, kind of said yes, and then we said no, and then we, yeah, and then we said no. So,
Actually, here's a simple fix. Investigate whether a form-based code or design guidelines are applicable and useful for Greenfield.
yeah, that's,
That's it.
there you go.
And
Over
or
there, good. Don't make any notes.
I think that's
Sorry, long
Yeah.
discussion to get just to that.
my approach to a plan like this is just make sure that anything that you might want to ever consider is in there. It doesn't matter if you're not sure, then you use a word like explore, investigate. you know.
It's already in that one, so you can say whatever you want, right?
Yeah,
You start with that word.
And it could be design guidelines.
I
it could
like
be
what you're proposing.
design review
Erica. Just say
process
or
or-
find,
Yeah,
or
whatever.
design.
Yeah, design guidelines or
Design
design review
guidelines.
process.
Right.
Yeah, that gives us some latitude to continue figuring out what's going to work best for the next
Mhm.
years.
It's important. I was just walking down the street, looking at all the signs, just thinking about it when I saw this thing about trying to develop more of a facade program and just looking at our storefronts. But I know what the businesses, they're back and stuff, they're really struggling. But it's not a nice looking downtown as a result.
Right. But there's savings in numbers, and if there's some kind of standard, then everybody gets together and pitches in and,
Right.
you know, gets their little piece of the
The
pie.
modification is to 1.2. Adding whether form-based
Design guidelines, yeah.
and or design guidelines is or are applicable and useful for Greenfield.
And that goes to us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, design guidelines. or
You're adding
design
that?
Review process, I don't know if you want to add that other one, but
we have a design review.
to not believe,
There is a zoning section here too. Some housing that we could expand it a little bit, add some of those things there too.
anyway, that's the place for it.
Jeff, you're
I'm fine
adding
with that.
to 1.1.2, the phrase adding design guidelines is
Yeah.
applicable.
We're adding design guidelines after form-based code, so investigate whether form-based code
Or
adding
applicable.
and or design guidelines
Mhm.
back to the original text of are applicable and useful for
Yeah.
Greenfield.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got to clean up our act in town here. Make it look nice.
That's the word. Clean up our act. There you go.
We want people to come downtown and enjoy being
Yeah,
there.
that's 1.3. Clean up, repair, and beautify our act.
Oh, but it's true.
Anything else in section 1?
I got nothing.
I don't, I had one more thing. I put notes I marked the hell out of this thing. The cannabis storefronts, I know it's a state law, you can't have. Well, I had it under cleanup and repair 1.3. I just had an ordinance about cannabis storefronts that they just cannot put black plastic out there, that they either do something with public art, but that 1 foot of between the 1 foot inside the glass, it should be something else instead of darkness.
Yeah.
We've got to animate those I'm sorry, I'm so tired today. I'm very incoherent today. But we have to animate those blackened out storefronts. If we're gonna let cannabis
Does that belong
dispensaries.
in this code?
Come in our
Now,
town.
it'd be a reason to deny a permit.
I agree, but we haven't. We've been letting people come in and I
Well, that's-
understand.
Does
I
that-
understand
does that
landowners
belong
have to
in
rent
here?
their space. I mean, I'm trying to,
But we can still deny a permit. If someone comes in and says they want to put a cannabis store on our property and they put a black storefront, we can say no.
we haven't been, but
I'm not sure if we can.
Sure we can, because our guidelines say no black storefronts in our town. That's our guideline, and they want to put a black storefront in our town. We say no.
but we don't have those design guidelines right now.
We've been trying to get that done. It's one of the things that can sent off for agendas, and we never get it on the agenda, is to address that specific issue. Come up with a recommendation that says this. Because I wanted to do, when we had the discussion, I got in all the trouble about, I wanted to send a letter to the ZBA that says, when you go to the special permit for that town, tell me what to be redesigned.
Yeah,
And you want
You
the,
can.
you want the dispensary to front on the side street and the other storefront to front on the main street. Then you don't have to worry about having a black window. We can do that
We
too.
also can invest in a more
Shouldn't be,
attractive
yeah, it shouldn't
window.
be.
You know, It's not that complicated.
Well, the design guidelines would address that too.
exactly.
So if we have the design guidelines somewhere else,
Well, we leave it
We need
there.
to do something before we get to this whole design guidelines. That may never happen. So if it's an issue that we find particularly unappealing to us, we need to make a recommendation sooner than later that says our zoning law needs to be changed to put this into our zoning law.
I would suggest that is a separate issue than.
It
the
is,
master
but
plan.
it came up as a
No,
topic.
no,
Yeah.
And since you guys have been wandering all over the place,
If I could finish.
I thought I would
I
want.
would support that. And we should put it on the agenda for a future meeting.
Next
That's what I'm saying.
agenda.
Yeah, but I'm not suggesting it's an invalid topic. I'm just saying it's not a master plan topic, but it could be put on another
Exactly.
meeting. And I know it has come up before, is what you're saying. And it's more urgent than the master plan.
Yeah.
It can't wait for design guidelines eventually coming up when this is eventually, runs through.
You can't do it retroactively, I assume.
Oh, we're gonna send a letter to the CBA though.
And whether or not, messing with the Cannabis Control Commission, all that stuff is tricky enough as it is, but
Sure.
so I think having, some kind of discussion about this.
I'm sure
Selective discussion
it's a
could
more
be a good-
complicated
Yeah,
topic than we
yeah.
probably realized.
Yeah, so that would be good, I think, for,
But it is our downtown.
yeah, well, I think the spirit of the comment is in the master plan, especially if we add the design guidelines piece, because then that is the mechanism by which we would
I do
establish
that.
these rules long-term.
Yeah.
And I think if we want to talk about, we could spend some time next meeting, if you want to add it to the agenda to, like,
I'll send you, I can send him an email, right? With
you can tell them right now. You tell them.
Like, I've got 4 or 5 things I'd like to put on your agenda. We'll do it later. You're doing a thing now, so let's finish your thing.
okay. All right, anything else in land use, CHEP goal 1?
Yes. I do. On the next page. Under
Please.
1.6, the first implementation action, under the stakeholder, we definitely, if we're talking about protected bike lanes, should include the DPW as a stakeholder. You're not gonna have protected bike lanes without the DPW being involved. And likewise for the next one, building a complete safe biking network, that should involve the DPW.
Next one down. First to implementation.
First two under 1.6. Okay, so,
Questions, since this is safe pedestrian and bicycle access, could we put a safe pedestrian and biking network? Could we add pedestrian to that? Okay, this is really, it is only bike lanes, but maybe we add another line
One are you?
about pedestrian, it's still on 1.6 that George mentioned with the safe biking network and improved bicycle safety. Since under the strategy of improve and expand safe pedestrian and bicycle access and public transportation downtown, all of this is about bikes. There's nothing in here about pedestrian. Oh, just the last ones. seek creative solution. All right, I guess that covers. To build a safe pedestrian and bicycle path, but that's just Turner's Falls Road. So maybe we add to that Mountain Road. The last one under 1.6.
I actually, before you get into that, I have a comment on that, but if we're talking about, you're suggesting add something about, say, pedestrian access to downtown. You're saying, right?
That would, yeah, I mean, the strategy is pedestrian and bicycle and public
Yep.
transportation. It's very heavy towards bicycle, and I just want to make sure we have
Yep.
pedestrian in there. That's all. That we emphasize that too. It just comes up in the last one. In one location. I just want it more generalized.
Before we get to that, could I just say, there's a few of these I think should be eliminated, if I can, in that 1.6. So it says explore the feasibility of creating a Franklin County e-bike share program. I don't think this belongs in this goal, because this goal is about downtown.
Mhm.
I don't think that has anything to do with creating a lively, attractive, accessible downtown. There is in the transportation chapter, the original master plan, there is a implementation action about recommend creating a bike share program. It's not an e-bike program, but I think this is a noble idea, but I don't think it belongs in the land use plan. I think we should just eliminate that.
Where does it go?
I think we should just, it doesn't belong in this chapter. I think we just rely back
Oh,
on it.
it's-
I think it should be in a transportation.
Saying it's
chapter.
already in the map.
It's not an e-bike, but a bike share program is in there, and I think, we can just.
Had you seen this before and just not comment? You just noticed it or?
Correct.
It's been-
Yeah, this is my, when I first reviewed it, it
Didn't
didn't
see it.
jump out at me.
Well,
I would suggest we eliminate the third implementation action under 1.6. That's one proposal.
Thank you, Sharon.
That's it.
Similarly, the 2 below it where it says explore whether Deerfield would be interested in collaborating on a bike trail between Greenfield and Deerfield on Route 510. I am an enormous supporter of that goal. I put together a proposal the first year of the CPA to try to come up with an off-road bike path between us and Old Deerfield. Didn't get funded, but I collaborated with people in Deerfield to propose that.
Just do it again.
Yes, but I don't think that is, it fits under this, and it's already an implementation action. It's mentioned in the transportation chapter of the original master plan. So I don't think it belongs here. I don't think it's related to the downtown, a lively, attractive, and accessible downtown. I mean, it kind of is in the sense of access to downtown from Deerfield, but
Interesting that it's listed as new, but it's been in the transportation plan.
yeah, well, they're not going to catch it. And nor did I catch it.
What's in the same section, George? What's the feasibility of public transportation bus loop in Greenfield?
Okay, so that one I'm suggesting eliminate because it already exists. Route 21 bus. Goes from the,
That's the FRTA, right?
oh, yeah, and the number 21 bus leaves from the transportation, the John's over Transportation Center, it goes, it's a loop around Greenfield, 45-minute loop. I've taken it many times.
Actually, there are two routes.
Well, there are multiple loops, but that one is a
That is the,
public transportation bus loop in Greenfield. And again, I didn't happen to catch this, but there are multiple bus routes. I don't think that's realistic to put it in there because a loop already exists. So I would suggest eliminating that as well. And lastly, the one you referenced, Erica, the last one, seek creative solutions to build a safe pedestrian and bicycle path along and near Turner's Falls Road to increase non-motorized travel to and from Turner's Falls. It's not just increase it, it's make it more safe. I've been involved with the former assistant planner and with FERCog multiple times. We've done cleanups on that road. We've done surveys on that road. I biked and walked that road. I had no clients I work with in my job who take that road. It's incredibly dangerous.
yeah.
But that's already in here. It's highlighted that particular road as needing attention.
So is
And,
there,
and I think that's got nothing to do with our downtown.
is there a way to just
No.
make it then more general, so it stays there as an action to implement?
I don't think
And
it's,
eliminate like Turners Falls Road, but just say throughout?
I don't think so. I think I think it's a good idea. They were just thinking of it, and the students, or whoever had a good idea, but it's not part of creating a lively, attractive and accessible downtown in Greenfield. So I think it's just, I think they were trying to throw too many things in there.
Okay.
So I would eliminate the one about
3, 4,
the
5, and 6.
3, 4, 5, and 6, correct. I would keep the increased bicycle racks.
3, 4, 5, and 7.
7, I'm sorry. Yeah, keep the bike racks. They just put it in, I haven't seen it yet, but a great new bike rack at the library.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, because they used to have that disc rack one for the longest time. They kept saying they were gonna get a better one, so they finally did. So I would eliminate those 3, 5, and 7 because they just don't really belong there and they're represented in the existing transportation chapter. That's where they belong, into the transportation chapter. And they can be updated in there when we get to that. And the number 4 rather, because it's already, there is such a bus route.
I mean, one thing about these little summary documents with the bullet points is they're kind of reminders. And so if we also eliminate too much, it gets completely forgotten. And I think that could be one of the reasons they put it in there. I don't know. Because it kind of becomes like your cheat sheet, because people always go to this first. The
But
table first,
But that's,
without reading. I'm saying for those who don't want to read that stuff, they'll just take this and.
but this is only one chapter. This is the land use chapter. This is the transportation chapter. And we should be reading all 7 chapters. This is not the
Yeah,
land use. This is about land use of the downtown. We're having bike racks downtown, makes sense.
Mhm.
But working on Turners Falls Road doesn't seem to fit.
Yeah, I'm just in my head, I can see how they came up with that. Again, bringing more people downtown, but
And
whatever.
I apologize because I was on the SGIC and I didn't catch these before, so we're having to do it now.
Anyway, it's fine. Okay,
I'm just proposing it, but.
yeah, no, it's,
So I wanted to kind of get those out of the way, because now you're saying if we're limiting it to 1, 2, and 6, then those still don't address the pedestrian part
correct.
or the public transportation part, because that's also listed in the strategy. So
Is it not the case? You kind of waste your good sentence on the strategy. And you don't have, like, the strategy should also be an implementation action. You need like a catch-all for,
Right.
if we have the phrase improve and expand, say, everything in 1.6. Is that,
You need any more detail?
like, then it's in there.
Yeah.
We might not have a thing to do quite yet, but that doesn't mean we're not allowed to do anything further besides the 3 things that are left.
Well,
I guess,
well, but one is the strategy and the other one are the different actions you can take to achieve that.
Yeah, but there's there's a bunch of other actions too. These are just the first ones that somebody came up with. As long as it's a strategy and a goal,
Right.
it's fair game for the future,
Mhm.
Right, we don't need a soft, non-thought out.
for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's almost like you're limiting yourself to the 3 items you put in,
Yeah, I find
and you're not. This
ultimately,
strategy is all you need to know.
Is that it?
you want as much latitude as possible.
Yeah.
So it's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
The goals and strategies are very open-ended intentionally, so that whenever we think of a good idea, we can justify it with one of these goals or strategies.
And they should be evolving with time too, from year to year.
Yeah, and I'm sure they are.
and the Main Street redesign is hopefully gonna improve, say, pedestrian access.
It's fantastic. It's really good. I looked at it in detail. Safe for bikes, for vehicles and for pedestrians. It's good. They followed all the good design guidelines for safe, complete streets. It's well done.
Okay, anything else for land use 1, or can we move to land use 2?
Now, George, I don't want to presume we should follow the same thing, which is these things are accomplished, we don't take them out. There's a lot of stuff here that was actually just recently done and
Mhm.
accomplished. But I think it's important to keep them in on the housing front.
I would think we would take them out
No,
if they're accomplished.
you would take them out?
Yeah, I was thinking of taking them out. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, for two, we're moving on to two, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I
I
was
mean,
looking at
it's an impressive
2.1.
amount of stuff because a lot of stuff's been done here.
Yeah, I was looking at 2.1 and I was like, a lot of these are just the recent
Mhm.
zoning amendments.
Right.
Yeah.
They got done during the process, you
The
know?
third one we
So
just did, yeah.
The zoning work outpaced the plan.
Yeah, that's great.
I do think they should be taken out.
And also the ADU, detached ADUs, that's
So,
also allowed.
1, 2, 3 didn't get done because we approved that silly house with the. That's not in place yet. That was another item for the agenda.
So number one, under 2.1, allow multifamily dwellings by right, in semi-residential. It is true for up to 24, I think.
Mhm.
Units, but not for 25 and above.
We tried to get that, but didn't get progressed.
So it kind of is accomplished.
Leave it in there.
Why would you leave them?
Well, just because it
I think
didn't
we
pass
agreed to
this
it.
time.
But we kind of, it was like a compromise. I felt. Was it not?
All right.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
The next one-
Change all the time, so.
The next one considers raising the maximum allowed in new multifamily buildings. The present zoning imposed a 24-hour cap. That's done because it was raised above that.
I didn't think it was.
Yeah, it's, right. It
It
was approved. It went to 20, look in the zoning, it's,
I don't have the.
Never came up, I had to go, that's allowing more than 24 units in one building.
We definitely,
I don't think we.
we allow more, I forget where we drew the line. Well, so I mean, I guess just a general thought is, these are moving targets, to try to be precise about exactly. I would say that these types of ideas should stay in there, because for one thing, zoning can be done, it's like it can be done. You need to have the history that these are our zoning priorities, so we can be broader in how we describe it, so it could just be promote multifamily dwellings in appropriate zoning districts or something.
Yeah.
Just generalize the language, take out the specificity, but maintain the priorities, and it probably need to have the same number of, like the first floor dwellings, that's a very specific idea. At minimum, we should at least just, again, the goal or the strategy states it pretty well already. Provide zoning ordinances to allow greater density housing downtown and in the greater downtown area. These are some of the ways to do that. Some of them have been done, some have been kind of half done. More will come up. We shouldn't strip out too much,
Mhm.
that we lose the history of support for those ideas.
I think if something's been accomplished, I think it shows we're moving quickly toward these ideas, and I think,
you don't know that because it's eliminated. I mean, when I read this plan and see things that have been accomplished, I feel good. It makes me feel like, okay, well, we're actually working on some of this stuff and we're making some headway. Not that, oh my gosh, isn't that already done?
Well, maybe
Because you lose it.
one example is, so increase bike racks and other infrastructure in downtown. That's a general way to allow more bike racks. If the idea had been put a better bike rack in front of the library, we would have crossed that off.
Right.
Bike racks wouldn't be there anymore. So you have to generalize them so that you can keep working towards a broader goal. And
Right.
there's nothing you can check off quite yet. You don't, I think in the zoning, some of these things, you don't want to check them off because you're never going to be done with them.
if they're more generalized, I'd be okay with that, but
So you
not the
wanna,
way it's currently written.
so you want to revise number 1 to say, promote multifamily housing. Is that
So this is specific to semi-residential.
Right. So I think the first three at least are too specific to keep in there, given that they've already kind of been addressed and
Right.
codified in some way.
Like I said, you revise, you keep them, but you revise the wording. So
Yeah.
Number 3
say
addressed?
promote multifamily
Continue.
housing.
Yeah.
Continue.
So write that down or
Promote multifamily dwellings. They just take out in semi-residential zone.
Mhm.
I guess it'd have to be more promote, allows, if you're not being specific about the zone, it's hard to say allow. People would interpret that as everywhere.
I just thought I use the word promote.
Yeah, okay, so promote so change allowed to promote and remove in semi-residential zone
Where are they now not allowed?
in most residential zones, right? And you can go up to 3 family, but you can't go beyond that.
Don't have, so I don't have, my heart isn't updated.
They're not
Change it so fast.
allowed by right in some places. I also we need to look at the zoning to remind myself.
But they are now in some.
Special permit in multifamily dwelling for less than 24 units. It's only allowed in SR and CC. It's not allowed in, well, obviously O and PI, but everything else is special permit. And special permit also for 25 and above. Yeah.
And the other way that maybe more general ways, we don't have to try to actually figure it out right now, is just to say, explore more ways to revise zoning to promote more housing production.
And the needs evolve and the way people live evolves, so keep it open-ended.
Yeah.
So that's the strategy.
Right.
The strategy is saying what you just said.
Yeah, so
So I don't think we need that implementation act. Strategy is saying revise zoning to allow greater density.
yeah, so if we think that the strategy can stand alone as something to point to, and it, you know, implementation action doesn't have to be directly tied to it, then.
But it's only in the downtown. Strategy's only in downtown.
And in the greater downtown area.
Yeah.
Okay.
The greater
Yes,
downtown
but
area.
somebody added that.
Right.
I guess that might imply, walking or biking distance of downtown.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
So now we're back to deleting one,
I would suggest eliminating one altogether.
Mr. Chair.
Seems like we should eliminate. We would therefore, I think, need to eliminate the first 3.
Well, can we take them one at a time? I mean, number 2, that is, what is the cap?
I
It
didn't,
has been
It's more,
raised.
I didn't think we got that through. We want to, but we
I thought we
couldn't.
went 24 without, by right, and then initial permit, you can go up higher.
That's what it says in here.
If you look under semi-residential, so
I don't have.
It's special permit for
That's the whole
25.
stuff. What did we-
No, this is the latest one that he handed out last.
but I don't remember what
May 8th,
the
yeah.
cap is.
May 8th.
So this
This year.
is 200-4.5 semi-residential district uses. 13, B 13 is multifamily dwelling in accordance with blah, 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 24 units and below. Amended by city council on December 18th, 2024. This is by right.
But what,
24.
Yeah.
And above it's special
And above
permit.
it's Special permit.
but what is the cap? What is the above? It can't, it's not.
Put a
It
cap.
doesn't say.
There is no
put a cap.
There's no cap.
25 and above.
But
It's
that's-
special
That's not
permit.
the appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So this happened. The
Yeah.
maximum number of units allowed multifamilies was limited.
Mhm.
The cap was limited.
The concern I have about pulling some of these things out is that this was a plan, well,
It's not a plan yet.
I know, but this was, this represents sort of the policy direction that a whole planning process says we should do. We've now embraced pieces of it in zoning, but as you point out, people could push back and want to change, and should this not stay in the plan that was developed? Because presumably you're gonna start knocking it off, and in three years, some of this will already be done. Do you take it out of the plan then? No, it's just the plan is the plan, and you start trying to accomplish it.
Yeah.
So the fact that something is early in it done already, I don't know why you take it out of the plan.
My answer would be, it's not a plan, it's a proposal. And because this stuff, especially around housing, is moving so quickly.
Right.
This stuff was in the air, and this proposal, the actual actions caught up with the proposal. And so this has been done. And so great. And so there's no need to capture this history of, we've done it, which is the most important thing. And so we don't need to capture what had been the proposal. We want the plan to be current and future. So we don't want the plan to be historical.
And we've gone back and looked at the rest of this and there's nothing in it that's already accomplished. I mean, we've taken this filter to the rest of the plan.
Well, everything, I'm just, every time I'm looking at something, whether or not something's happened, that's why I was looking at it. Have we done this?
How about if we word it more, I want to say aspirational, but that's not the right word. How about if we say promote ongoing study? And that, again, that's not the right word, but along those lines, just that we don't lock ourselves in a point in time because we know the needs evolve. And as Greenfield builds, we're going to have to come up, as we move forward in the future, we're going to have to stay open and creative to finding new solutions for new needs as they present themselves. So I'm just wondering if there's
That
a
goes
way to-
back to the
State.
strategy.
Right, the
Strategy
strategy is
says
very open-ended.
revised zoning. So it doesn't say revised zoning today. It can say, it just means.
Just
if something-
revise.
If something
revise
comes up
every
next
year.
year,
Okay.
you can revise it again. So it's in the
So
strategy.
so this is, okay.
Yeah, the implementation,
So what would be the action of that? Promoting that, looking at, I noted in a couple of places, look at a tax incentive for the creation of an accessible, I'm giving an example, accessible ADU. I had another thing, could study tax incentives for rain gardens, to keep people from putting sump pump water into the sewer. I mean, I'm just wondering if because some of these do have assess, study the feasibility of X, Y, Z. I'm wondering maybe if we turn that around like that
well, it sounds
as
like
an action, again, as an action item.
you're proposing a different,
I was just giving an
it sounds like you're
example.
proposing a different strategy. Because
Yeah,
the
I was
strategy
just
is
giving
revised
different
zoning,
examples.
and the next one is about barrier-free housing specifically. And those are the two under this increased housing
Yeah,
stock.
but those are just examples. Maybe there's a way we can phrase something here that addresses what you're saying.
Well,
And
one
at the same time.
approach, Greenfield did a housing plan. It's customary to reference other plans in this document. So this document doesn't have to replicate everything that was in a much longer plan, just like we did for the open space and recreation plan. So there's a plan that is presently, I don't know how adopted it is, but it's the policy of the Economic Development Department. My firm authored much of that study, I must disclose. So I'm only suggesting that because there's a lot in there.
Well, let's reference it.
So it might be a shortcut
Yeah.
to some of this stuff, because it has a bunch of things in it. So the same would
I
be
think
true for
that's perfect.
transportation plan. There's a parking plan that was done recently. So, if the town has invested in planning in any of these topics, we don't need to rehash that. We can just point to it.
Totally agree. So we just reference it.
So that would be an implementation action could be
Implement
just whatever it said for the open space recreation.
implement recommendations of the Greenfield Housing Plan.
And what is the status of that plan? Like you say, it's been,
I don't think it's been formally adopted. They're not always formally adopted. A lot of times a plan like that is just meant to be today's policy perspective or it's data to inform specific decisions. It's been used to make decisions, to justify decisions.
and it was, who?
Mission by.
Yes, commission.
Commissioned by the Economic Development, by Amy, over the Economic Development Department. It wasn't planning or another group.
Right.
It was funded by a state grant. I forget
I
which
think it was
program. Urban Agenda or.
yeah, small city. Yeah. Yes.
I know the answer to this, but could you share that with the rest of us?
The report or?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a website. Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
So, I don't, you don't mind me going back to the topic at hand. I understand where George is coming from. We've got the strategy in place. Items 1 and 2 were specific implementations that were written at the time this plan, what did you call the plan? What did you call it? Proposal?
Proposal.
This proposal was done. Those specific implementations have been accomplished. So we can take those off. Doesn't mean that we forget about them because the strategy references them anyway. There's revised, so it's not. So I understand what you're saying. I kind of agree with things that were listed here that have been specifically done. This specific item has been accomplished. So I don't see why we can't delete 1 and 2. 3 was not done,
I don't think so. No.
okay? Because we have an issue with that.
But then we can eliminate 7 too.
So 1 and 2, I think we can delete if you agree, Jeff. But
I would,
there were specific items and they were specifically done. You could always add something later.
if we invoked something bigger, like the housing plan in this case, then it captures ideas like this. I would feel that those are being carried forward by this plan, just as the open space and recreation plan.
If you want to add a new one that says, to reference that.
Probably someone else should make that suggestion if I'm too close. to
Right,
that.
right.
So 1 and 2 we're gonna agree on. Element 3 is still active. Because we had that with another discussion we had in front of the Economic Development Committee.
Right.
We're gonna sit down with a plan and we're gonna draw a line that says this is where you cannot have ground floor housing. And we didn't do that there.
Yeah.
It's a-
And-
Gotta do that.
And I think it is good to have, rather than just generally reference, oh, see this plan. I think there's value in that. But I think something like this, which feels, I think there's value in having certain things specifically. And I'll just mention as an aside that I think it was at the end of the last city council meeting, Councilor Healy touched on, I think this is what he was talking about and wanting to bring this forward to get addressed, because this was something he wanted to champion as well. So I think it's the very issue you're talking about. So we might be hearing about that. So
Okay.
just to mention that.
Sure.
So,
Can I ask, I know you had mentioned at the last meeting, you wanted to wrap this up at this meeting. I wanted to ask how long we want to go tonight.
So my plan was to,
Was it me who said that?
I think so.
you look at me, especially because we don't have an action to endorse, approve, is it approve?
No, we would be voting on, yes, approving this, and yes.
I think, and it sounded, so it's being late, and we have more sections, so I was gonna suggest we get through land use 2
Mm.
and then go home. And then it sounded like Erica, you were maybe gonna work on a couple of things. We have a little more to think about, and then we have a few more pieces to get
I
through.
think we already added the line
Okay.
about the design guidelines. We already added it.
But then we can put on the next agenda an action item to vote on. approving.
If I can suggest, land use 2, land use 2, I'm sorry, land use 3 is the next page. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Where are we? Do we, I assume we want to get rid of the accessory dwelling unit.
Yeah.
One.
Yes, and the open space cluster development,
Yes.
so that's 7 and 8.
7 and 8, I think should be deleted.
Any changes to 4, 5, and 6? 3 we know is not done, so we need to work on that.
The row houses, that had come up. I was trying to remember. I was gonna check that.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, George? The
1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5 about the row houses.
oh, the row houses, yeah, we,
Did we vote on that? That had come up, right? I know there's been so many things happening. I'm not sure. Eric can maybe help us, unless you guys
I
remember.
thought we allowed single family downtown, but not on the main street or something.
the thing with
Was it
row
not?
houses, it's just,
I was asking about row houses.
yeah.
Well,
Houses are
I
so,
don't think we did anything with row houses, because it's just basically another style of a multifamily. It's like a 40 unit multifamily as opposed to a 25 unit multifamily, right? Row
it
house.
doesn't, well, no, it has to do with the,
Structures.
it's the setbacks also. If you have setbacks required on the side, you can't do row houses. And the thing with row houses, building row houses sometimes is a lot cheaper because you don't need an elevator. Somebody's
Mhm,
entering the
mhm.
ground floor and you have multi-story and you can make it narrow and long and it's
We didn't do anything with row.
it's a great, well, we can't do them here, so we have to get that into zone, so that needs to stay here.
Okay.
Do we know which ones to cut?
1, 2, 7, and 8 is what I have. This list of being.
I agree.
Are we adding anything?
Nope.
yes.
Oh,
Did we want to add something like implement the suggested actions included in the 2024 or 2025, whatever year it was, housing study?
That's what you're proposing.
Yeah, that's the line you're proposing.
That is what I'm proposing.
Yeah,
Okay, can you word that again for me, Sarah? Say it again for me.
Implement the actions
I've read.
But we're not voting. but I don't-
suggested
It's a very good
in
plan.
the housing study.
Don't disagree, but we're not voting, so.
Is there a date on that?
I don't remember what year it was, 2024 or 2025.
Well, there was an addendum in 2025, so called.
2025.
2025 by Jeff's company. Should be.
Oh.
I guess I should say. I have material interest in whether or not.
I think it's important to have that.
Okay,
We need
I
that.
just closed.
I'm gonna add, say add.
That one and future ones.
Okay, so I mean, now that I'm looking at what 3, 4, and 5 are, they are maybe pretty quick. We just want to check them off real quick.
My phone.
I guess let me just ask if people had significant amounts of comments on 3, 4, and 5.
did we talk about 2.2, land use 2.2?
Yeah. I just want to add in 2.2, consider an accessible ADU tax incentive.
You still talking about 3, 4, and 5 on the section 2?
Oh, I thought we jumped.
Oh, the numbering is, there's, well, I was
What
skipping.
section are you
Okay, I guess we're on land use 2.2.
in? 2.2, okay.
Okay, that's where I'm saying, do we want to put a tax incentive? Assess the feasibility of a accessible ADU tax incentive.
ADU tax incentive.
Accessible ADU tax.
And why?
Just trying to get people to build those things. I mean, it's such an easy, for me, it's a low hanging fruit. At grades, accessible, standalone detached AD unit. It could either be a garage conversion or just completely new construction. But it's so easy to make an ag grade in your backyard accessible unit. And I'm just finding, because it's so hard, so costly to build right now, and maybe it makes sense since we want so much housing to consider, is it feasible to have a small tax incentive that over X amount of years, we reduce your property taxes on that unit for X amount of years, kind of like federal tax credits or whatever, but anyway,
If
that's,
we had
I'm just
a-
throwing it out there.
If we had
Because the
a
town has
tax
control of
incentive
that.
to offer, would that be our top priority if we were to put it?
What do you mean for where to put
I'm
it?
s-
You mean in here?
Well,
A
no,
tax
well,
incentive.
you're proposing to use a tax incentive
Just
to
for the
encourage
ADU.
something.
Yeah,
Is that where I would want to put it? I'm not sure. I would say that's the,
the best plan.
yeah. I
So
mean, it's
maybe
just kind of
we'll-
random to
yeah.
just pick that. I'm saying.
Yeah.
We haven't really thought about it. I mean, tax breaks.
No,
for
you make a
certain
good
kind of-
point. So maybe, since it comes up in other areas of these recommendations, assessing feasibility of tax incentives or financial things, whatever, maybe we put it under the housing stock somewhere as a general thing. But it is something to consider.
You could use the word incentivize, it might be a little easier.
Yeah, incentivize.
That could mean a lot of things.
That's already in,
We have to check if it's feasible, so that would be an actionized.
that's already in 2.2.1. Advocate for state and local programs to incentivize rental property owners to retrofit.
Okay,
Or existing, and you could add something about
Just do
ADUs.
rental properties, just say rental properties.
It says existing
Just get rid of
properties,
existing,
you could,
just get rid of.
Yeah,
Retrofit rental property.
yeah, I'm looking for new.
I'm saying you could amend that sentence.
Yeah, okay,
To include that
yeah,
potentially.
that's fine.
It's an ADU.
So,
Rental property.
so you want to just change it to where, to retro.
Well, that's planned,
to-
rental
uh,
or.
ret-
I don't know if you want to try to wordsmith that right now, or
Yeah,
it
let's-
seems like it could fit in
Let's
there.
just do it. So where,
2.2.1.
You say to
I would
provide
say-
barrier-free rental.
yeah, that's what
Say
I would do,
Owners to provide
or create,
rentals with accessible features such as, let's just say to provide rentals. Owners to provide rentals with accessible features such as, that would cover everything, right?
yeah.
Anything they're renting.
That's fine, yeah.
That'll work.
Mm-hmm,
Are you talking about ADUs as rental properties? or you
just
talking
in
about-
general,
Right. So you could say something like incentivize owners to retrofit existing rental properties or,
no, No, I think to your point, it doesn't have to be.
If I could just finish though.
Just provide rentals.
Yeah.
Just use. why does that
Could be new or
Could be
existing.
new. If someone builds an ADU to rent it, they should then try to make it accessible. Oh, okay.
George,
But you're speaking to not just ADUs for rental, you're speaking to ADUs, whether they be rental or for sale.
But this is
So-
for rentals.
I guess if I could finish this suggested sentence, you could say advocate for state or local programs to incentivize owners to retrofit existing rental property with accessible features such as blah, 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 or for the creation of new ADUs with similar features. Because the
retrofit
ADUs,
existing or create new, I would just keep it simple. Either or.
but you're
Or
not,
like you were saying, just eliminate completely, don't distinguish between a new or a retrofit.
but are you talking about rental product? I'm just trying to distinguish, are you talking about rental? And is that what the incentive is or?
It doesn't even matter, rental or not, because my point is that somebody owns a big house.
Mhm.
Might want to downsize and move into an accessible ADU and then rent that big house. So, and they're still the owner of the property, and I'm trying to catch all of that.
Yeah, I think we're just talking about rentals. We're not talking about new ones for sale. I don't think that's what we're talking about. Telling people they're gonna build. Most people aren't gonna sell an ADU, it's on their property. That's not gonna happen. And you can talk about rentals.
Okay.
I mean,
Owner occupied or rent.
I think you can interpret the way it's written and do what you're saying. And adding an ADU is retrofitting an existing property. But
Very good.
There you go, I like that.
I think you can remove the word rental.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's not like we don't want people to retrofit their own houses. That's the thing too. So maybe remove the word rental. And add, so owners to retrofit existing properties or build new with accessible features such as. That seems to cover everything.
Yeah,
We're taking here,
Just take out the word rental and say or build new, sure, property.
rental,
And were you hoping to have ADU flag particularly?
no, there was a separate line for the. Barrier free, well, this is all about barrier, no, it doesn't, I think it doesn't have to be separate.
I think personally, ADU is overly specific.
Yeah,
You can
exactly,
build it, you can add a unit to a house. I guess, yeah, you can call it ADU, you could not call it ADU
Mm-hmm.
and have the same impact. We need to.
Good.
all right, so let me just read it to myself. So advocate for a state or local program to incentivize property owners to retrofit existing properties or build new with accessible features such as, correct?
yeah,
Let's move on. All right,
That's it.
Okay,
The only other thing in this section I had is the last 2.2.4, and this is just under stakeholder. I thought in addition to housing, Greenfield and economic development, since it's talking about increasing resources and programs for the houseless population, we should include human service organizations and also the mayor's office. As I know, obviously those kind of organizations, the one who provide the resources and programs, and the mayor's office is very involved with
and human resources, what?
organizations
Human resource organizations.
Human services.
Human services
Services.
organizations.
and the mayor. I would suggest if we get to. I don't know how much economic
do we, is
development.
the mayor called out anywhere else in this, oh, yeah, it is, okay, I see it.
And I wanted to suggest, I know we have a page and a half left. I know on the next page, there's some cleanup needs to happen. I know there's a couple of places where there's just, things are repeated, and there's one where in parentheses says still needs reworking. So I want to suggest we call it at this point, and we're going to come back to this next
Yeah.
month anyway. So I sense some fatigue, and we're obviously working hard on this, and I would suggest we call it a night, but
I think, yes, and if we could have very specific if people could look at this over the next month and come back with specific language to talk through, we could probably cut through the last few sections pretty quick. So then for the agenda, we would talk.
Victor's added something to the agenda.
No, I'm gonna send you an email with a couple of items.
You can mention it here. I mean, it's okay to mention the topic without
Well, I didn't say
advocating for
I didn't do
it.
any agenda where that actually fits, so that's fine. Didn't say new agenda items.
Can I just, so I know I don't have anything else I have to do. We did add the design guidelines
Mhm.
in one of the, well, I don't have to write anything for that. That's done. Right?
We
took
did,
note
we
of that?
solved that, we solved that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm coming back and not
At
having done my
1.2,
homework.
Heading design, guidelines, and form-based are.
Glad the Butinskis are staying in the farming business.
And I wanted to suggest for next time that, revisit the appointments, chairs appointments to, the Sustainable Greenfield Implementation Committee and the, CPC. Chair has
So
to
what
make
was
those appointments.
the,
The, Community Preservation Committee and the Master Plan Implementation Committee. That's Sustainable Greenfield Implementation Committee.
So reviewed board representation on other committees on,
Yeah, it's just those two.
I was gonna say other committees.
My apologies for going on and on about the right of way on that property boundary. I was trying to get these neighbors to find a
Well,
solution.
it wasn't the neighbors, it was she wasn't taking issue with the neighbors, I don't think.
No,
It was the surveyor.
she was, like, I own that or I don't own it. I couldn't really figure out.
I know, she wasn't taking the hint, it's, we can't drink it.
before we veer off course,
Adjourn. Oh, yeah.
so the next meeting date, the last night, September 4th,
Yeah.
6 PM.
It doesn't.
Thursday?
In the process. How those things work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
going once, going twice.
motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.